A very good day. I'm Callum. I'm a bit of an antenna geek, and I recently did a short 10-minute video about kind of my history, where the concept of the product that I developed called DX Commander came up. Not so nice pictures, but I happened to mention, and I showed a nice picture of a 3-element vertical array. Okay, so it's a single vertical with a reflector and a director. So just exactly like a 3-element Yagi, right? But vertical. And somebody said, oh, can I have more information? In fact, 2 or 3 people said, can they have more information about that? So I will zoom the screen in a bit so you can see this properly. So I've fired up MMANA, and I will quickly draw this 3-element array. I'll start off with a single vertical, okay? And it was on the beach, wire 1 at the bottom. That's the feed point. And I'll tell it it's for, I don't know, about 7.2. Now, funnily enough, I did this a minute ago off camera. I couldn't exactly get it working how I did. But that is the far field plot for a straightforward vertical on average ground, all right? I was near the beach, literally very near the beach. So we've got a button here called ground setup, and pure salt water is 5,000. I was just off it. I would say the conductivity was probably 4,000 millisiemens per meter, which would probably look something like that. Oh, crikey, even if it came down, 3,000, 2,000. It was fantastic. Now, if you remember, there's been big debate. There's people who don't like me for this. I like to measure my DX potential for antennas at 5 degrees off the horizon. This is exactly the reason why. So if I come down to 5 degrees off the horizon here, it says at the top 175 degrees, so 5 degrees. I've got a gain of 4.3 dBi, which is roughly 10. If I change the ground setup to, I don't know, what is it normally? 50? I can't remember, but that'll be fine. Far field setup. So 5 degrees. That's actually quite good. That's too good, actually. Ground setup. I think it's supposed to be 5. That's what it is. 5 degrees off the horizon. Give it minus 6.3. It depends on the ground conditions. -5, -6, you'd never know the bloody difference. But the bottom line is, by the sea, you get 10 dB. So if you're doing 1,000 watts, you're basically competing with the guy inland. You'd have to do 10,000 watts, all right? Receive as well. It's reciprocal. So let's leave this at the seaside at about, I don't know, 2,500 millisiemens per meter. I'd probably still look incredible. Yeah, it does. Right. Now, you can put a reflector behind here. And by the way, I've got a 4-element version of this in a minute that works really well. You can put a reflector behind. We'll make it a bit longer, 10.45, and we'll place it about 8 meters away. So you'll see it's here. There it is. So we've put it, unzoom this. I've put it behind it 8 meters away. All right. And hit the get power. The impedance and stuff will change. We can go down, find out where it's supposed to be resident and everything. Hang on. No, it's about then. Whatever. Right, so far field. Now you can see, right, that some of my gain has gone in one direction, away from the reflector, and to the tune of -5. 8 dB, right? And we were -6 a minute ago, right? So that's 8 plus 6, 14. So we're 14 dB better, just with our reflector. But what I did in down in Cornwall is -8. -8. I put another one. I made it a bit shorter, and I don't honestly know what the bloody dimensions were, right? And because when you look at the impedance and the SWR, it looks, I don't know why it looks so bad. But let's just dare this for 7. I've got a funny feeling because we're quite low down to the ground. A lot of the maths is happening on the ground. I would ignore the impedance. You'll get better than 2-to-1 SWR. 1.8 to 2. I would have suggested impedance around somewhere between 25 and 30 ohms. But there's a better system I've got for you in a minute. So the far field plot with the 3 element now, it was 8 a minute ago, is now 10. So we've gained another 2 dB, right? So, and I had a great match. It was like 1.2 to 1. For some reason, on the maths, whatever. So we're now 15 dB better. However, let's just file new. Let me just start again, right? I know what I'm doing. So 10.2 meters long, wire 1 base, and we'll put a single reflector behind at 10.45. All right, this is a really big system now. 7.2. You should be able to keep up with this, I'm sure. Where is my other reflector? Oh, well. What are we going to do? -8? 8 meters away. 8, 3, it's 24. 25 and a half, 26 feet. And it's at a funny angle, look. See how I'm messed up? Yeah, okay. So, X, yeah, okay. 8 and 8. There we are. So, right, there it is again. All right. 7.2. So we were roughly here a minute ago, weren't we? How big is that one? 10.45. Yeah, fine. Right. Start. And if you remember, we were at about 8 dB at 75. Yeah, 8 dB. So we're getting the same gain. Now, here's the magic. We can make a stack. In other words, you can bay a pair of these together. Number of horizontal. Those are 2 horizontals, make stack. Right, so I'll show you what we've just done. So this is, we had one of these, and what we've done is 0.55 a wavelength, which is about 22, 23 meters away, 70 feet-ish. I've got another pair. So between the 2 red dots, we would need some 75 ohm coax and a T-piece. Okay, this is a monoband, single direction, fixed antenna. Okay, start. We got actually a better match now to SWR. But look at the far field plot at 11.7 dB. All right, I mean, it's this just and we nicked somebody, I don't know, it wasn't me, but somebody nicknamed this whole system a flamethrower, right? But let's just take it away from the sea a minute and go back to, I can't remember what that's supposed to be. I think it might be 5. Away from the sea, it's still, it's not very good at all. No, it's still 1.2, so it's still 7 or 8 dB better than a single vertical. But I'm thinking I might build that for 17 meters. That would be fun, wouldn't it? You could have, it wouldn't be very big at all. 0.55, 17, 8 meters wide, a couple of meters deep, 4 cheap poles. You'd be away. We need some ground, in fairness. But you compete with the Yagis up there. In fact, that flamethrower on 40 meters would probably beat K3LR's 200-foot 4-element Yagi. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's getting 12 dB at 5 degrees. It might just be and no more. But there we are. So the answer to your question is, I can't remember the exact spacing and sizing. But if I had my time again, I would probably do 4 elements, right? The only hassle with 4 is you're now creating a 4-element phase array effectively, and you will need probably 2 lengths of 3/4 wave. Let's say 85% velocity factor. You could probably get away with 50 ohm coax. If you're prepared to run 1.5 to 2 to 1 SWR, just frankly sling anything in and hit it, and all of a sudden it'd be like you're running like 5 to 10 kilowatts. It'd be amazing. Interesting. There we are. But maybe dare me to put this on 17, because I haven't got anything but big gain on 17. Hell, you could build this on 10, 10 meters. But you got to fix it. But if you're in the US, it's all right. You just go, well, Europe's over there. I'll just have the whole of Europe. Enjoy your radio, guys. See you next time. Bye for now.